Fred Richani of TSC News here to recap WWE Monday Night Raw for April 18th, 2016. If you have not watched Raw yet, spoiler alert, this Raw took place in the UK, and lo and behold, it was none other than Shane McMahon in charge of things at London's O2 Arena. Yes, for the third straight frickin' week, Shane McMahon was in charge. Why? Well, of course, he had overwhelming social media support. And look, I like Shane O'Mac. He seems like a cool dude to chill with. He honestly, the dude's got more swag than most of the guys on the roster. I mean, he's not Shinsuke Nakamura level swag, but he's got some moves. But yeah, the explanation to this whole thing. Oh, he lost to The Undertaker, but there's so much social media support. Well, there was so much social media support for Zack Ryder, and that sure didn't help him. But I guess when your last name is McMahon, it's a little different, right? So Shane McMahon was a guest on the Ambrose Asylum and talked about his big bump at WrestleMania, which, oh, by the way, he walked, he walked just fine from, the day after on Raw. Talked about it, talked about The Undertaker, and what do you know? He was interrupted by Kevin Owens, then he was interrupted by Sami Zayn, and then we had Chris Jericho and his gigantic head, and I love Chris Jericho, but it's something about his head. It's gotten bigger. Maybe it's the hair. I don't know what he's doing with his hair these days. It's very weird. I think the guy maybe should just try to grow his hair. He's got enough hair. Try to grow it long again. Something. I don't know. It's kind of a mess right now. Maybe he's grown his hair out to build to a hair versus hair match. It'd actually be pretty cool, him versus Ambrose. Well, before we get to that stipulation, we're going to have our first ever, to the best of my knowledge, at least first ever in a long time, Ambrose versus Jericho match. It's going to take place at Payback along with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. But tonight, Shane McMahon made not one, but two big matchups, which were Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. And I'm going to skip ahead here and just say I'm very disappointed with the results of these matches. In fact, I'm actually disappointed that these matches were even made. Because in the case of Zayn versus Jericho, on paper for a hardcore fan, that's a dream match right there. That is a dream match. And instead, you just put it on Raw, unadvertised, for free. And what do? Well, you have Sami Zayn lose clean to Chris Jericho. And again, I'll preface this again. I'm a fan of Chris Jericho. I grew up watching and loving Chris Jericho's matches and work. And I am totally fine with protecting legends. Totally fine. In fact, I think they haven't protected Jericho enough in the last 3 years. Instead, they had him jobbed to Curtis Axel and Fandango and geeks like that. However, Sami Zayn should not be losing to Chris Jericho right now. In fact, Sami Zayn should not be losing right now, period. He really shouldn't. And if he's going to lose in a big pay-per-view match, if this match was at least on pay-per-view, I'd say, okay, you want to build up Sami as that underdog. If he's going to lose, maybe have him get to a title match and lose there, or get so close to a title match and lose like he did against AJ Styles. But 2 straight losses, 3 losses in the last couple weeks, 1 at WrestleMania, even though he got one of the biggest reactions, and this past week against AJ Styles, although that was a great match where he looked like $1 million, and then you follow it up with him just losing to Chris Jericho. I don't know about that. In some ways, there's a part of me wants to say, it's okay. He'll be fine. On the other hand, he's becoming dangerously close already in some ways to becoming Evan Bourne. Now, the thing that works for him, that works against Neville, who kind of fell into that Evan Bourne spot, is that he can talk on the mic. And he's got a lot more charisma than Neville. Neville's great in the ring, but Sami Zayn has a ton of charisma. He's got the Daniel Bryan-like charm where win or lose, you just love the guy. He's just such a likable guy. But here's the issue. Even with Daniel Bryan, even though WWE reluctantly pushed him and occasionally buried him or tried to make a fool out of him or whatever, they still told you his story. With the old NXT, while it didn't get the most viewers, it did do about 1 million viewers, maybe a little over 1 million viewers per week on Sci-Fi back in 2010. They at least showed you a video package about Daniel Bryan. They at least told you his story. Now, they also had heel Michael Cole bury him on a regular basis, but they told you his story. On the main roster, since Sami Zayn has gotten to the main roster, have they told you his story? I mean, have they really got in depth? Have they shown a video package? Maybe it was on SmackDown and I missed it, but I haven't seen one on Raw. I haven't seen one on Raw of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens that's shown pictures of them in the past, teaming up and all that jazz. I haven't seen nothing. Now, I'm sure a lot of WWE fans that didn't know Sami Zayn probably really like him right now, or at least kind of like him because he's been having some really, really good matches, especially that great match with AJ Styles last week. With that being said, you can only care about a guy so much if he just shows up out of the blue, especially if he's losing right out of the gate. Now, we have the Vaudevillains who are advancing to the tag team finals, and I believe they beat, according to my notes right here, I think they beat the Usos, but they beat the Usos. Here's the thing with the Vaudevillains. Like Sami Zayn, they were called up out of nowhere, and they got no video package, no promo time, no nothing. Maybe they got an inset promo that I missed. But has anyone been given any reason to care about the Vaudevillains, which, by the way, is a very one-dimensional gimmick in the first place. Nothing against their work in the ring. In the ring, they're all right. But I'm talking about it as characters. No. They just kind of, they showed a quick little thing of their black and white Titantron that one time and said, oh, Vaudevillains debut on SmackDown. And they've gotten over like a fart in church or, whatever, like a meat lover at a vegetarian convention. They're just not over right now. Nobody cares about them. I think they'd be great challengers for the New Day. But they need to be built up. They need to have some promo time. Okay, they're going to win this tournament full of geeks. They're probably going to beat Endzone Cast in the finals, who made it to the finals, by the way. And they're going to go against the New Day. They're going to get laughed at. They're going to get booed. Nobody's going to care about the match until the New Day hits their move and dances, and the Vaudevillains will be on the way of the Ascension, downward spiral. And speaking of the Ascension, if you haven't heard, Connor of the Ascension and Adam Rose failed wellness tests. Yes, they violated the wellness policy. I was surprised that it was their second offense, so both are suspended for 60 days. In the case of both guys, they're over the age of 35, which is not good. They've both been booked like jobbers, which is also not good. And in the case of Connor, which is really interesting, he actually failed back in 2006 in a different stint with the company. So the fact that 10 years later, that first strike still counts against him is pretty significant. So all you guys that have had past failures before looking to get back in WWE, or have had past failures before and are currently with WWE, you might want to be careful. Now, I believe there is a loophole where you could either get some type of therapeutic use exemption for testosterone or some kind of drugs, or you have to complete some type of program or rehab or whatever. Evidently, Connor didn't do that, and well, yeah, not good. Not good. I don't know what they failed for. Some people ask me if it's weed. I'm pretty sure with weed, you just get fined. You don't actually get suspended. I mean, they might just keep you off TV, and not pay you, but as far as weed goes, I don't think that's officially under the wellness policy. Synthetic weed, now that is under the wellness policy, and since I brought up Evan Bourne, that's what essentially killed his WWE career. Failing for that, not once, but twice. Like Drake would say, back to back. But yeah, Vaudevillains and Endzone Cass are your tag team final, and should be a decent match, but they really have given us no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever to care about the Vaudevillains, at least on the main roster anyway. At least on the main roster. And that's quite unfortunate because they are talented guys and they do deserve a legitimate chance to succeed. And, oh yeah, forgot to mention, Endzone Cass, how'd they get to the finals? They beat the Dudley Boys. Clean. So that's a big win for them. At least they got that big win, and at least they've had some time to actually promote themselves on the mic and get over their characters. We had Baron Corbin destroy Fandango with the end of days, so poor Fandango, who's still pretty over in Europe, can't even get a win there. We had Miz TV with Maurice. She made fun of the Prince, Cesaro came out, and they got into a confrontation, and this led to The New Day and Cesaro beating Alberto Del Rio, Rusev, Sheamus, and The Miz. And Cesaro pinned Sheamus with the neutralizer, so that was good. We have Charlotte versus Natalya, and it's been set up that it is going to be not only Natalya versus Charlotte for the Women's Championship, I almost said Divas Championship, had to stop myself there, but at Payback, they're going to do the same exact thing they did in their NXT match back in the day. Charlotte's going to have Ric Flair in her corner, and Bret Hart is going to be in Natalya's corner. So perhaps they do a title change. I don't think they will. I know Bret Hart still likes to get in his jabs at Triple H, who's technically Natty's boss. But you know what? It'd be a nice moment, Bret Hart recovering from prostate cancer, to see his niece win the title, celebrate for that hot Chicago crowd. God bless Charlotte, but Natalya has been on fire lately. And that match that she had, look, Charlotte held her own. She did all right, but man, Natalya was the one that really carried that thing, and she's been one of the unsung heroes, one of the most underutilized women, one of the most underutilized wrestlers in the WWE. She is so talented. It'd be nice to see her get a run. They should have put the belt on Sasha at WrestleMania, but since they didn't, and since she's not in the title picture right now, give it to Natty. Why not? Let her run with it for a little bit. She could have great matches with a lot of girls that really aren't the best workers like Tamina, and then eventually she can drop the title to Sasha or Becky Lynch. Or, maybe keep it for a little while and Nikki Bella comes back, and then you could do, if Nikki Bella's healthy and can actually wrestle again, who knows? Maybe have Nikki Bella kind of pass the torch, so to speak, to Sasha Banks. We'll see. But that's your title match. Should be a hell of a match at Payback. We also had Paige, Sasha, and Becky and Natalya beat Team Bad, Summer Rae, and Charlotte, and Natalya made Charlotte tap out. This time it counted. We had Dolph Ziggler get his ass kicked by Baron Corbin after the match with Fandango, so sucks to be Ziggler. Roman Reigns came out, cut a promo. AJ Styles confronted him. Afterwards, Gallows and Anderson attacked Roman Reigns. They had told AJ, hey man, we got your back, and well, they took out Roman Reigns. I'm guessing this is going to lead to a swerve at Payback, where Gallows and Anderson, AJ Styles' former Bullet Club buddies, actually join Roman Reigns. Why they would attack Roman Reigns if they're eventually going to join together, I really don't know. But then again, we've seen Seth Rollins join the Authority after kicking the hell out of Triple H in a couple matches with Evolution and The Shield. So, hey, maybe it's their way of initiating him. Maybe they get to the point where Roman Reigns decides, you know what, there's strength in numbers. These guys prove to me that they're tough, and these are the guys I want to ride with. Who knows? It would make sense. And if you want to use a Bullet Club-like nickname, maybe WWE buys the trademark. Maybe WWE calls them Bulletproof. Roman Reigns does wear a bulletproof vest. Or at least something that looks like a bulletproof vest. Why not? It'd be cool. It would be nice to see AJ eventually win the title if they do the turn. But, a long-running heel stable with Roman Reigns, a real heel who actually gets heat, and a couple really talented guys backing him up in Anderson and Gallows, as opposed to last year where Seth had Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury and Big Show and Kane. It'd be a nice change. It'd be a nice breath of fresh air. Kind of like a good guy authority figure. An authority figure that actually has credibility with the fans that fans love. Who makes the right decisions? What a novel concept, right? Telling the fans how awesome they are instead of telling them they suck and hate their lives. Ugh. We had Apollo Crews beat Heath Slater. And lastly, we had Dean Ambrose beat Kevin Owens in the main event. And while I'm sure this was a damn good main event, this is not the time for Kevin Owens to be losing matches. This is also not the time for Dean Ambrose to be losing matches, which is why neither guy should have been in this match. And if you were going to have these guys wrestle each other, why not book Ambrose and Zayn versus Owens and Jericho? I think they may have done that on SmackDown, but who cares? They book every rematch anyway. Why not do it here? As opposed to two singles matches. Just preposterous to me. Sami Zayn needs to be protected. Kevin Owens needs to be protected. Here's the problem. There are a few guys that need to be protected. Not enough guys are protected. And because not enough guys have been protected in the past, it's hard to continue to get guys over. The thing is this. Kevin Owens is talented enough where he could beat some geeks for a few weeks straight, leading up to his match with Sami Zayn, and still be over. He's got great mic skills. He's great in the ring. Sami Zayn, same thing. Jericho, same thing. Ambrose, same thing. It's almost like, I mean, it's one thing if this were a big pay-per-view match, and this is like one of those UFC cards where they have a title eliminator, right? Where it's, I don't know, say Anderson Silva and Michael Bisping, and the winner gets a title shot, and one of them has to lose, even though they're both marketable contenders, and you would rather not have either guy lose, okay? That's one thing. But Jericho beating Zayn, Ambrose beating Owens to lead to a non-title, nothing match at Payback, I'm sure it'll be a great match, and I do get the logic. Ambrose is supposedly going to finally get that big pay-per-view win in 2016. He's going to beat Jericho, and when he beats him, it's going to mean something. But still, it's at the expense of Zayn and Owens. I'm sorry, man. If they wanted to put over Ambrose, should have done it at WrestleMania. Then again, the same thing could be said for Owens and Zayn. But it is what it is. So overall, this Raw looks pretty good in terms of match quality, in terms of newsworthiness. Crowd's hot. I mean, it's the UK crowd. They're always really hot. That being said, I do disagree with the top 2 match results, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear from you, though. Did you attend the London Raw tapings? Are you attending SmackDown? What do you think about everything going on in WWE? Also, quick note right here. John Cena's American Grit, unfortunately, did not do so well in the ratings. A lot of people were wondering why WWE did not promote it on Thursday night. Well, Thursday night is also SmackDown night, so there's your answer. Now, would they have promoted it, say, if it was on a Tuesday? I don't know. They're very, very weird about outside projects. This is John Cena, however, so, you know, who knows? Who knows if this will get him any heat with management? I would hope not. I mean, the guy's only carried this company on his back for over a decade. Also, Total Bellas is going to be debuting in the summer. Yes, the Bella Twins get a spin-off reality show. Total Divas also returns, and it's going to have a new cast. The Bellas will still be on there as well. So even in retirement, these ladies are getting that money. Daniel Bryan, still getting that money. So much respect to them for their business acumen, their business sense, how to promote themselves. People like to hate on the Bellas and the Bella Army, man. I love them. Okay? They do a great job. They bust their asses in and out of the ring. So much respect to them. And for those wondering about my thoughts on the pending demise or sale of TNA Impact Wrestling, I'll actually be doing a separate video blog on that because that's so convoluted it needs its own video blog. So, folks, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Raw? What do you think about the upcoming SmackDown tapings? What do you think about Payback? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us, Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, take care. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, please feel free to subscribe to my gaming channel, youtube.com/TSC Gaming, for the latest videos from EA Sports, UFC, WWE 2K16, much, much more. I actually just bought Quantum Break, and hell of a game so far. And I got to say, thus far, the story makes a lot more sense than whatever's going on with Shane McMahon and The Undertaker, who, oh, by the way, is no longer on the European tour. But on the bright side, you get Triple H and Kane. Anybody? Crickets? Oh, well. Until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the matches.